Welcome to Evil Cheese. I am Scott.
I'm Eric.
And we are here with the new Kickstarter expansion to the Dice Throne universe.
Wow.
This is Dice Throne Outcasts, and it is 4 brand new original non-licensed, so they're moving away from kind of their Marvel model and going towards kind of a Halloween slate of characters, which they said, hey, well, we're going to get them there by Halloween, and they didn't quite get them there by Halloween. I've had it for a few weeks, but it did come kind of in like mid-November. But they have 4 new characters: Pale Lady, which is kind of a werewolf character; Headless Horseman, the Raveness, and the Necromancer. And you get, I think, a good variety of difficulty level. And so one of the things the game does is kind of explain, like, how complex is the different characters that you've got. Comes in this nifty box, which has magnets and opens up in a nice way, and then has the games compartmentalized in their neat little boxes. That's one of the things I've always thought was great about Dice Throne, was its compact, smart design. All right, so we have got Dice Throne's brand new Kickstarter Outcasts expansion here, and it is 4 Halloween sort of themed characters. There is the Headless Horseman, who I'm going to show you. There's the Raveness, who has is kind of like an Edgar Allan Poe, has a raven that goes back and forth and helps you. There is the Necromancer, who raises undead people to help him, and then the Pale Lady, who has a whole board flip with a werewolf on the other side. But Dice Throne is really straightforward, and you kind of learn it pretty quick. It's a combination of using cards and then sort of in your sort of Yahtzee King of Tokyo style customized dice that have multiple different sides to them, that then, just like in Yahtzee, you roll the dice and then see, okay, what attacks can I do? And then your hand of cards can modify that and change what happens as well. And those cost combat points. And that's where this dial comes in. So you've got hit points, combat points, you roll the dice, and then over here are some of your special abilities, like the Headless Horseman can throw his head at his opponent and do damage and get advantages here. And then there's Dreadful and Grim Pursuit, and all these are sort of like little tokens of little extra damage or damage resistance that kind of happens. And this is in the very traditional way that Dice Throne works. It's really rolling dice, using cards and using tokens to change those to get the best possible attacks and a defense on a one-on-one battle versus another opponent. A lot of people know Dice Throne. It's been through a couple of seasons as well, but this is the newest component to it. And so, Eric, what'd you think of this new component? How does it fit in with the rest of the Dice Throne world? And, what do you think?
So I'll start with the first question, which was, how do I think it incorporates into the Dice Throne world? I think it does a fantastic job. I like the theme. It's just like trick-or-treaty Halloween, in your face, and not connected to really any other kind of intellectual property.
Nope.
I mean, the only thing that is maybe is like the Headless Horseman, but I mean, he's his own legend.
Yeah.
He's his own man, if you will. But they all have very unique, very, very unique feels.
Yeah.
But they're all that kind of spooky, terrifying and nightmarish kind of thing that works really, really well.
Yeah, and if you guys know the first couple of seasons, there were things like Barbarian,
Gunslinger,
and Moon Elf, and Gunslinger, and like Centurion,
Pirates.
And
I think, right?
pirate guys and stuff. And so, kind of a good array of characters, but nothing kind of in the dark kind of, this kind of
not
vein.
This dark. No. And then this is more my preference for this kind of game than something that is like an IP. So like I like the Marvel ones, but like you said, I like to play those in their own world.
Yeah.
And these we only played against each other, but these would slide right into the other ones.
Right, totally. I mean, you got the Treant and Ninja, and I mean, you can you could go on and on. But these, I think, these very much fit with the original, kind of direction that Dice Throne went before they kind of did their big Marvel campaign with its missions. And there was a few Marvel people before, but then they did the big X-Men one, and so this is kind of almost them returning to their roots a little bit in coming up with original characters,
which I was glad to see that. And it's almost like they're returning to their roots having learned a lot, because I feel like each one of these characters brings something fresh and something new, but in a really clean way. Even the more complicated one, the Necromancer,
who I played,
is he is a jump above the other ones.
Yes, he was listed as a 6 difficulty, and he would raise the dead of people and had an additional like corpses were like a commodity, and so he was always like gathering corpses to then send more of these things out to you, and he even had a power that we've never seen before that I didn't get a chance to use, which was the resurrect power, where when he's killed the first time he comes back, but he doesn't have as many abilities. I had to use 10 corpses to do that, and I was too busy fighting off the werewolf.
Sometimes in life you just don't have enough corpses.
I know. I mean,
classic problem.
You can always use more corpses.
Absolutely.
So let's start. You played the Pale Lady. Why don't you talk about Pale Lady a little bit?
I went into all these guys knowing nothing about the characters or anything, and then I was reading about her, and then it's like, and then if you get enough moons, she transforms into a werewolf. I was like, what is that? And I flipped, and that's the complete other side of the character board. Is a whole nother character board of a werewolf side.
So, I mean, not like...
Which is awesome.
It's not like we haven't seen that before. Magic the Gathering, they had flippy cards and that kind of stuff that did that. But we hadn't seen that before in the Dice Throne world.
Not a complete other side. I think that Jean Grey...
had like different powers when she was Dark Phoenix.
But they were like minorly different.
This was a total...
This was like a completely different character. And also, interestingly enough, her... deck of cards is, and I don't know if any other character is like this, she doesn't have any ability upgrades in there.
Right.
Because the ability upgrade is transforming into that werewolf, where you just become a true glass cannon slashing bloodthirsty machine.
And I mean, pretty much every other character, I think one of the cards that you can get like lays over on your board and upgrades abilities. But she doesn't have that because it's their whole board going over. And there's these clever little moon pieces that make a moon. And
so she's all about trying to get the moon pieces to then become that werewolf. When you're not the werewolf, she gives you abilities like in order to heal, and like you're not doing nearly as much damage as you are when you become the werewolf. A lot of undefendable damage and a lot of bleeding and prey.
That's right.
It's just kill.
I had a lot of status effects on me.
Right. So if you want to kill your opponent as fast as possible, the Pale Lady is a good character to go for.
And the person that she killed real hard was the Necromancer. And that was, we talked a little bit about that, but difficulty level 6, I think I started to understand halfway through a little bit how you've got these cool little, undead that can be sacrificed to take damage and do damage, and you get rid of them. And I don't think I sacrificed enough of them early on. I was trying to kind of conserve them.
You were almost dealing with like a different kind of like currency that you just
corpses,
used. And how that worked, it wasn't complicated or anything like that. It just took a second to probably wrap your head around what you should be doing.
Right.
And that there were like 3 different kinds of undead soldiers or whatever you were summoning. So you gotta kind of learn what they do. But they weren't anything like...
No. I mean,
outlandishly hard.
I just think it's like, I would say complexity level 6 on these is you play it once and then you really understand like how you would use it going forward the next time. But versus your pure unbridled savagery as a werewolf.
I kind of got it after like halfway through my first turn, I was like, oh, I just need to become the werewolf as soon
Right,
as
and
possible,
just
try to kill
chew
people.
on all of his corpses.
And stay in the werewolf as long as you can, too. Because as the werewolf, you are you're losing moon tokens, and as you lose your last one, you transform back. So
you know,
stay in that mode.
I would say they're fairly balanced. You know, all four of them as we kind of go through of that. There's positives and negatives to kind of each one. It would be interesting to play a little bit more, or maybe then play them against some of the other Dice Throne characters and see how that kind of fits together. But that was our second battle. Our first battle was with the Headless Horseman and the Raveness. Eric, do you want to tell them a little bit about the Raveness?
Raveness, basically, she's all about getting her raven companion to fly over to your opponent.
Nevermore.
Whose name was Nevermore, very cleverly. And then to leech their life out and then bring the raven back to you to gain that life.
And each one of those things kind of took an action, and so it wasn't overpowered because it took a little while to get over there, and then it took a few turns to take a little life, and then you had to bring it back to get the life. It wasn't just like you got it instantaneously.
Right.
So that was sort of the check.
Yes, and she was also complexity 3, which I think is totally right. I mean, she was not hard to understand at all. The big thing with her was using that raven.
Yeah, was it also she had kind of witchy powers or?
What she also had like a hex where it made the enemy's 6s basically blanks.
Right.
So that would stop an enemy from using the really, really ultimate powerful abilities too, which could be quite annoying. But those were a little hard to make happen too. So again, she was also really, really fun, really neat, streamlined, straightforward.
And the final character was the Headless Horseman. He had a lot of big damage.
Yes, that was his thing. He had a lot of big damage, but he also had that head.
Yes, he
ability.
would throw the head at the enemy, and it would then do more damage, and then he would pull the head back, and you would have some more defense when you had the head, and a nice big token piece that was cool.
I guess he's more like a tanky character. I guess is what you would say. Yeah. Which was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
The game started to really. I always have liked Dice Throne. This actually made me like it more, even now, because I started to understand the card play and that. When you're rolling dice, which is the main draw of this game, is all the cool abilities, and the dice look great, and like the different combinations of symbols match up to do that. But there is a big element of randomness in that, but the cards are not random.
Right.
And the cards can help you really fulfill like a strategy.
Yes, very much so.
Even if the dice don't exactly go your way.
Yeah, I didn't ever feel like, not every dice roll went my way.
No,
but
it's not going to.
But that didn't bother me.
No.
I mean, because I felt like, hey, I got to do something really cool on this turn, and then, I think randomization sometimes gets a bad rap because I
agree.
I think, I
agree
because I think if it's there's no randomization, then it can get boring. It can get too predictable. It can get, if you're down and you get a amazing roll, you can flip things around, right? I didn't mind that part of it at all.
No. But, if we just want to kind of and wrap it up here.
Well, the one other thing that I did want to talk about is we are playing just the original base game intent, which is 1v1 player. Right. There's also rules in here for adding 4, 5, 6 people, so you can have more people fight, and then you fight cross different people. I don't know how that would work in comparison to this. Yeah. The turns move fairly quickly, but I'm not sure quickly enough for 5 or 6 people. I don't know.
I don't know. I like this as either really just 2-player campaign co-op thing or just head-to-head.
Yeah,
I'm adding more. I don't really see.
Yeah,
and this kind of locked that in for me.
Yeah,
playing this today, I was like, this is kind of how the game's intended to be.
Yeah,
I like the co-op way. That is a fun way, other way to do it. But just the one-on-one, head-to-head, that's just where this game sings and where it kind of wants to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So where does this rank, Scott, in your Dice Thronium zeitgeist?
Yeah, I would say I really enjoy the new characters. I think, you know, I would definitely be picking these characters, I think, often in the world. You know, I don't think the Marvel characters work quite as well in fulfilling who they are, but maybe that's because I know too much about the characters. I don't know. But I really like these characters, and I was just again impressed with the quality in the materials, the smartness of the design, and I have been enjoying Dice Throne.
Yeah.
So
this is my new favorite Dice Throne set. I love all these characters in there, and I think like I said earlier, I think they learned a lot from the designs they've done.
Yeah.
And they have added fresh things without being way too hard to understand.
Right. Or repetitive. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I think is the most amazing about how they've designed, is that each character feels and plays very different.
Yes.
I mean, we've gone back and we've done gunslingers and barbarians and moon elves, and they all have a different feel to them. You know, you don't feel like you're just playing the same thing with a different skin all the time.
Right. Big recommend. I think this would even be a good jumping in point.
Oh, yeah.
If you never played Dice Throne before, this would be a great set to get first.
Yeah.
Just don't play the Necromancer first. Play the other ones.
Yes.
And then come to him later.
Yeah, I would totally. But if you were dead set on it, just know that the first time you play through it is going to be a learning experience, and then you'll kind of have it down. I don't know if this is going to be available retail or not. Like I said, this is a Kickstarter game.
Usually, I feel like they end up retail.
I think
like
so.
I've seen all the X-Men one and like Barnes and Noble,
right?
Like everything,
right? Yeah. So after the Kickstarter
I hope
thing,
it is.
Hopefully, you know, maybe this comes out as well, because I think
it is.
And they've had like the season 1 boxes and season 2 where you can get all the characters or pick and choose kind of I have. So
hopefully it's all in one Halloweeny pack.
All right. So this is Scott and Eric for Evil Cheese. This was our review of the new, and this is, like I said, a month old as far as the release of Dice Throne's Outcasts. And thanks so much for watching Evil Cheese. Don't forget to like and subscribe for us. And
don't get scared.
Thank you. Yeah, don't get scared.